Alrighty, all of the major elements of the two-player pinball machine are completed. Over the last month or so, I've constructed the upper ramps, the pinball dispensers, the scoring ramps, and a sturdy table for the machine to sit. There's a bunch of little things to finish before painting, so let's knock them out one by one. I started with the last sections of wall that will guide the lost pinballs to the hole that leads to the scoring ramps. There's a decent amount of dead space that isn't part of the play surface. Instead of having big open cavities, I filled them so they're flush with the walls. After a bunch of testing, there was a semi-regular problem at this tunnel entrance. The slope is so gradual that the pinballs would sometimes just stop. So I added small ramps right at the entrance to create a little momentum and encourage the pinballs to roll through. I also finished off the walls and tops near those entrances. I continued filling any openings that were left, including this spot under the upper ramps. With all of the major gaps filled, I started the long process of sanding. I used a few different sanding tools to clean up any edges, smooth out the walls, and overall just make it smoother. I flipped the machine on its side because there were a few things under the hood to improve. I mentioned this when I built the dispenser. The gate sometimes didn't fully reset, so I added some hooks and rubber bands for it to completely reset after each time hitting the button. Here's another issue I found after testing. A few pinballs fell off the track on their way to the scoring ramps after dropping through the hole. I added a slightly taller barrier that was still clear of the flipper mechanism to ensure that the pinballs stay on the track. After all that sanding, I hit the machine with some compressed air to clear out any dust that had settled in the cracks. The next step is to fill in any of the small cracks and spaces with wood filler. In some areas, I definitely wasn't shy with how much I applied. And to be clear, none of this changes the function of the machine. It's purely cosmetic and cleans up the look of the machine in preparation for paint. The wood filler needed a few hours to cure, so in the meantime, I pulled out the router with a flush trim bit and cleaned up a few edges that needed a pass. The wood filler was now dry, so I got to work sanding it smooth to match the wood. I had never really used wood filler like this before. When applying it, it was kind of flimsy, so I was concerned it wouldn't work. But man, it was solid like cement. It's stainable and paintable, so I'm gonna have to start using this more often. After all that sanding, I gave it another thorough cleaning with the air hose and vacuum. The next step is painting, but with the machine officially done with construction, I had to give it its first real test. The only problem is that my options for opponents were limited. Doofy was going easy on me. He's a nice doggo. Okay, that's it for now. See ya. Doofy, you gotta play. I beat you. I beat you. You wanna try?